last night for Game Boy F9. This is Game 2 of the best 2 out of 3 series, and should it be tied, should Card win the first one, well, we'll go to Game 3 immediately thereafter, and we are ready to go here. King giving the instructions, and we've got 3 treasure chests in which we'll have stuff to help our runners along here, including some big bucks to start off with, and a torch to help them see in caves, as well as the obligatory magic key, which will be used to open the door right there in the throne room. Our runners are going to look, see if there are any spells that might be able to get them out without having to use that key, and there are not. So off we are, and our runners are going to look to see if there's a town nearby to spend that quickly found gold.
Yeah, it was kind of nice seeing that grassland out in front of the castle at first, but not a whole lot in the area.
But there is a wolf that immediately punches Game Boy down. And there was a cave to the west of the castle, and Card hopped in and hopped right back on out. So Game Boy going to save his game and try to preserve some of that gold. Every time that you take a death, you are revived at the cost of half of your gold. So Game Boy already down into the mid-200s. Meanwhile, Card taking out a slime for 1 experience. Our runners are looking to get to 5 experience to acquire the next level. And a gold man, not going to be able to do it. One-shotting Card here, and Game Boy is going to navigate the cave.
Well, finds a ghost, which is, not a bad enemy. And a metal slime!
Oh, this could be huge for Game Boy here. Metal slimes are generally enemies that run away, but if your strength is less than double theirs, they're guaranteed to stick around, and he does it, and immediately is going to leap to level 6.
Wow, rocket star, 23 power, 21 speed, 55 hit points.
And the cave leads to the back of Garanham.
Wow, everything coming up Game Boy here makes it to the end of that tunnel.
So we have an herb, a cursed belt, and the silver harp. That's one of the obligatory items needed in the game here. And now Game Boy going to do a little shopping as Card getting to level 2.
Yeah, bamboo pole, club, clothes, so nothing too exciting there, but he does have the cursed belt if he wants to sell that for the chainmail.
Well, so far, fortune favoring the bold, but it is early here, and ooh, the wolf's taking out Card for a death here. Now, I'd mentioned the strength being a factor. If Card should go into that swamp cave to travel through to Garanham, now would be the time, as the metal slime only having 10 strength. If you have 20 strength or higher, the metal slime will more than likely run away from you.
Yeah, and it looks like the starting zone is a good chunk of it is sitting in the ocean, because he's getting much more difficult enemies not very far left of the castle.
So somewhere between levels 2 and 6 were the spells of Sleep, Stop Spell, and Outside. And Game Boy going to use that Sleep spell to be able to work on a pretty tough enemy here in a Poltergeist. I mean, pretty modest stack gains here, and there is level 3 for Card.
So there's Stop Spell and Outside, but I think, unfortunately, that cave is the northern entrance of Swamp, right?
That's correct, so you'd have to make the run downward. And Game Boy finding Charlotte Castle. That's where the Dragon Lord awaits our heroes to be strong enough to take him out. Card, meanwhile, working on gaining some strength right around the start.
Yeah, 20 strength, but he's able to take out some of these Mandrakees, so hopefully he can get up to 4 pretty soon. Game Boy finding Sharlock and finding some decent, early mid-game enemies to get some more experience on.
And just with that, Game Boy going up to level 7, just mere seconds after level 4 for Card. And, ooh, heading to the southwest here, there are not 1 but 2 towns. Meanwhile, Armored Knight taking out Game Boy F9, and Card not able to outlast the Scorpion, but does have the knowledge of those towns to the southwest.
So we'll see where Game Boy decides to continue the exploration. Got a fair amount of information on the other continent, but it looks like he's headed straight for that cave again.
Yep, just south of the northern cave, and running into some late-level enemies, so a bit of a treacherous path, but an Armored Knight just 2 steps from the town and is going to one-shot him.
Yeah, there are some nasty enemy groups at the start. I mean, the Wolf is pretty bad enough at level 1, but at any level, Armored Knights can give you the business.
And it looks like Game Boy heading into that same direction is going to get there first, and we've got Brecconary, and Game Boy spends about as much time as it takes to say the word Brecconary in the town. Meanwhile, well, here is Rimeldar, so that will allow our runners to find keys, and Card again, 2 steps before the town, encounters an Armored Knight.
And Game Boy's got enough for 1 key, it looks like.
Game Boy now working on a Wraith, which is a fairly nice enemy for this particular time, and the 3rd time is the charm for Card, but not enough money to purchase keys.
Oh no, the Wraith does heal more.
Because why not? So Card continuing to work on the Scorpion. Game Boy now back into Tantagel Castle and is going to check out the treasury here. We've got some big bucks in the upper left. The Stones of Sunlight in the middle there. An empty chest, and I missed what was in the bottom right.
It was an empty chest, so I'm guessing herbs.
Both herbs.
Stock up. Oh, so bottom right was gold. Sorry.
Oh, bottom right was big bucks. Okay, so that would explain the 1,400 plus gold. Glanced away from the screen from a split second to note when Game Boy had acquired these Stones of Sunlight. And now Game Boy going to fill up on magic keys.
Yeah, and NESCard looks like he's going to save that key just in case the treasury doesn't work out so well.
Well, he'll get some money, which is certainly a huge help. Meanwhile, Game Boy going to check out the treasure chest inside of Rimeldar. Behind 2 doors, we have a set of wings that works like the return spell. It'll get you back to the castle. And Shy, thank you for just joining us here. What happened was a metal slime kill 2 minutes in for Game Boy that launched him to 255 experience right from level 1 to level 6, just 2 minutes in.
Alright, magic armor in the weapon or in the shop for Rimmeldar, and I think Game Boy is gonna check out the shop in Breckenary now.
Have a little money, go on a little shopping spree here, see what you can find. Opts not to purchase the small shield, and card going for an instant reset.
Yeah, and I wonder if there's something in Garenham that Game Boy's interested in, but he's gonna lose half that money.
Yeah, the enemies right around those two towns are brutal. And up to NG, I think there was a small shield. I didn't see at first glance if there was a large shield there, but you're right. The opting not to purchase it and get an additional 10 defense points, it could be questionable here. Okay, it was in Rimmeldar, that's why. And Card is going to pick up the large shield, as well as the leather armor and copper sword. So some decent gains to the already base strength and agility. The copper sword adding 10 attack power. Yeah. Meanwhile, the leather armor providing 4 defense and the large shield providing 10 defense.
Yeah, nice boost for NESCard's gear, and makes those wolf encounters a lot more palatable. And those are really the kind of enemy that is most efficient to level on at this point in the game. You know, provided you can't find a metal slime.
And nothing to Game Boy's liking in Garenham. Card gonna head on through and pick up the wings.
Oh boy.
There's the red dragon. Oh, and he gets a critical hit, an excellent move, but oof. The red dragon says critical this.
Here, let me show you how it's done.
And I believe Game Boy has set up what is known as a gold grind glitch here. Now, the way that this works, chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, but due to the limitations of the game, well, the game only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as open, so every chest open beyond the 8th chest can be taken over and over again. And in this case, by opening those 3 chests in Garenham, heading back into the swamp cave, which is not in the overworld, taking that death, going back to the throne room where there were the 3 treasure chests in the throne room that are automatically marked as opened. And then the last chests there, the last 2 chests, I should say, in the treasury, that was 7 and 8, and now this 9th one here, he's able to take the gold over and over and over again.
Yeah, and we've seen the magic armor, and we've seen silver shield, and, you know, at least a copper sword, so Game Boy is going to have a really nice set of equipment coming out of this gold grind.
So you can see Game Boy just printing money here. Meanwhile, Card going to take a look at what is behind the basement of Tantagel. And Game Boy going to wisely save the game and preserve that gold. As Card going to head into the basement, and it is the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave, because if you don't have all the items needed to acquire the Rainbow Drop, most notably Erdrick's token, he will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is. So with the 23,255, I would imagine that's enough for the silver shield and the magic armor, the best shield and second best armor in the game, the best armor that money can buy, as Card runs into a red dragon, and there goes that.
Yeah, Game Boy getting a lot of encounters, but able to get away from all of them, and here's the magic armor.
So that magic armor, that'll give an additional 24 defense. So you can see already up to 46.
Oh, there's a rogue scorpion one step away from town.
And he puts the rogue scorpion to sleep and just opts to run away. Get into town, into Breckenary, and here comes the Silver Shield purchase. So that is 20 defense on top of the total already. So you can see 66 defense for Game Boy. As Card is working on a ghost, trying to get through the swamp cave, and makes it to the back of Garanham.
Alright, so now for NESCard, this gold grind is also open to him, so we'll see what he decides to do here.
And there's the Silver Harp. About 13 and a half minutes after Game Boy getting it. So Game Boy is now going to check out what is behind Tanagel Castle. We know it is the Rainbow Drop Cave. And Card seeing another town trying to get away and not able to from the Star Wyvern.
Yeah, it's funny, just thinking about if this was an early Hurtmore seed, how different this all would play out, but just having to rely on strength, and NESCard with 22 strength and a copper sword, it's been tough sledding so far.
And the strength gains, well, not exactly robust, even at level 7 up to 36 strength. So now with that Magidrake, Card able to get up to level 5, 9 power, 1 speed, 15 hit points, 5 magic points, and a spell. And there is the Fun Police for Game Boy, but he's able to get away.
Yeah, pretty surprising, but it does feel bad to know that they look like they're showing up at about a 20% clip in the basement so far, and oh, this might be bad.
Well, they have the standard Dragon Breath as opposed to the Dragon Lord Breath, and Game Boy is going to fall. Card, meanwhile, trying to work on and take out a wolf here just to get some of the levels here.
Yeah, and that's a nice chunk of experience for where he is in the leveling.
And Bismarck having a question regarding the sprite for Game Boy in chat. Noting that when Game Boy walks south, how does the feather in his hat keep changing what side of the hat it's on? My guess is it's the top-down perspective kind of throwing things off a little bit. And Card able to get away from a red dragon as well. Both of our runners in the swamp cave.
It's just the hat constantly spins around.
Yeah, it's like the propeller on a beanie. At least that's what I'll hearken it to. But yeah, since it's a red mage, it could just be some magic.
Hey, there's a tablet cave.
So the tablet cave, no enemy encounters in this cave, and it's a path to 1 treasure chest.
And
One of the 23 here.
Yeah, nice enough to have the outside spell as well, so it doesn't feel so bad when you only get gold.
which, apart from looking for a weapon, gold, not as much of a concern for Game Boy at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure Game Boy would love to find broadsword or flame sword somewhere, but just nothing better than the copper sword available so far.
We see the skeleton with hurt as well as, I think, sleep.
And the mountain range blocking Game Boy's progress further north. And is he going to take a crack at this green dragon?
He is not.
They're just going to put him to sleep for the safe run.
Yeah, so you manage to get an enemy to sleep, you're guaranteed to run away. And Card, finding the Staff of Rain cave, is going to trade in the Silver Harp for the Staff of Rain, one of the 3 items needed. So there that is at 2038.
Yeah, just a token away from being able to poke your head into Charlock, but with strength values like this, it might take a little while longer.
I would say so. And Card now finding out about the sleep on the skeleton.
Good stop spell target, though, and Card's going to take this fight pretty easily now.
And in the mix here, we had missed Card going up to level 6. So now, catching up a little bit here. And speaking of bit, thank you, 8-Bit, for the 8 bits. Here's the Randomania channel.
Seems appropriate.
I see what you did there. And an Axe Knight taking out Card. So now, Erdrick's Token. This should be interesting in that it could be in a search spot, as it usually is, or a little twist to Dragon Warrior Randomizer. It can also be in a treasure chest.
Yeah, and there is a lot of territory to search for yet. Still haven't found any of the search spots in Mountain Cave or the Grave.
A critical hit on the Warlock there.
Game Boy finding another cave just past Charlock. Looks like he's gonna bonk his way through, and I think this might be the grave.
Based on the movements, that looks to be the case. Garen's Grave that has 5 treasure chests in it, 3 along the top. Then you have to walk through a locked door, or open through a locked door to get through the rest of the cave, where there are 2 deeply buried treasure chests. And let's see what we have here. We've got an empty chest, some big bucks, and the Death Necklace.
If strength stays low, that could make a pretty big difference, and Game Boy is not sure. Going for the door.
And because he had both fully filled up his herbs and magic keys, not sure what that first chest was. Perhaps we'll see if and when Card goes that way.
Yeah, and Game Boy is going to continue digging this out, and I think this would not be possible in his case without the magic armor and the silver shield. He's pretty much back up to full health just because of the lesser healing of the magic armor.
Yeah, the advantage to the magic armor is for every 4 steps that you walk, you heal 1 hit point. And wow, bit donations are coming to crazy here. We've got Retro Grizzly Bear and Lorgon and Socrates, Fey Winds and Cyberdark. Thank you so much for the bits. And here comes level 8 for Game Boy. No strength, 3 speed, 10 hit points, and 3 magic points.
And level 7 for Card takes out another wolf, and yeah, still only one level behind now, and still killing some enemies in the starting area. These the Druids and the Wolves, pretty decent experience. And what's in the bottom of Garen's grave?
Fairy water. Oh my goodness, there is bit sanity going on here in chat, and thank you all for doing so here. As we are in the grand finals of the 2018 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament.
Game Boy almost got the Wraith before the... oh, no, he got the stop spell off, so Healmore didn't do anything this time. And yeah, just pretty solid enemies for both Card and Game Boy to get some experience from.
And a notation in chat that the experience difference is only about that metal slime at this point. It's kind of hovering around that 250 to 270, and Retro Grizzly Bear, my goodness, thank you for the 10 gift subs here to the Randomania Network.
Yeah, thank you very much for the support. Greatly appreciated. For those of you who got the gifts, enjoy your Randomania subs.
And enjoy the Drogon Lord emote.
Game Boy finding an empty corner up past the swamp, so has to trudge back through. And, you know, with only the herbs available for healing, the magic armor is making a pretty big difference in early exploration here.
That's right, we have yet to find a heal spell halfway to level 16. So a wolf now on Card's side, and another critical hit for Game Boy on a Wraith.
And, well, oh, gets away from the AK, but he chases him down.
Yeah, not able to get away for long, and hurt more for good measure.
Could be interesting though if one of those guys ends up in the in a grind spot, possible stop spell target depending on how their resistance shook out.
Yes, the Armored Knight known in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community as the AK-47 because it hits as hard as one. So that death allowing a little bit of time for Card to pull back toward the experience lead. And exploration-wise, pretty similar, all things considered. I mean, if Card ends up avoiding Garen's grave, that's one thing that, unless the Death Necklace is needed, and that's a question mark at this point, that's a cave that goes unexplored that could certainly save some time, and here is level 8 now for Card.
Yeah, and Game Boy going after this Magiwyvern 4 and 3 damage at a time. It's a pretty big investment, and if this doesn't go right, that's a lot of time lost.
And answering a question in chat from Vartio, the Death Necklace in the vanilla version of the game, all it does is curse you, and if you try to go into the castle, the king kicks you out. Here in Dragon Warrior Randomizer, it was programmed to give a little bit of a risk-reward in that once you put on the Death Necklace, you get an additional 10 attack power, but it comes at the cost of 25% of your maximum HP.
There was a golem down there somewhere, and I wonder if he was in the grind spot.
That is an excellent question. So if the princess is needed and the golem is guarding the princess, that could be rather troublesome.
Yeah. Another excellent move on Game Boy's side, and we have level 9.
3 power, no speed, 7 hit points, and 6 magic points right here at the half-hour mark.
Oh, but finally a heal spell.
And Card able to get away from the green dragon. And now off to Garanham once again.
Yeah, going for the treasure chests, and I wonder, is this the time that he's going to set up?
Well, meanwhile, Game Boy trying to get away from the red dragon, and the Fun Police makes another arrest.
Here we go. NESCard opening the 3 chests in the tunnel, and then immediately going for back to the swamp cave. And looks like he's headed for that golem.
Now, this by no means an attempt to take out the golem, as it is merely to take the death and take advantage of that death warp. And that will set up the gold grind as the 3 chests are opened in Garanham, the 3 chests there in the throne room from the beginning of the game. And now Card just needs to open 2 of the chests here that don't have gold necessarily. Although he gets 1 there, so he does guarantee, and oh, yes, the Axe Ghost, as it's noted there. So he's doing an herb grind as well as a gold grind, so maxing out his herbs as well as now maxing out as much as he can that gold.
Yeah, nice heads-up play to efficiently restock on everything that he needs. And Game Boy finding a Wolf Lord, and you know, these are, again, the enemies that you really want to see when you have not so much in the strength department.
Now, I should mention the other issue with the treasure chest glitch is that when you go to find an item, sometimes it doesn't really know what to do, given that there's the extra chests in play. So occasionally you'll see an odd pairing of words from the inventory of the game thrown together. So you'll see things like an Axe Ghost, you'll see a Sword Magidrake. That's always a good one. A Sword Magician. The Harp Knight, that's always a fun one. And my personal favorite, when thou hast found the red.
That one doesn't show up very often. But
no, that's what makes it great. It is very rare. Thou hast found the red.
But yeah, always fun to play Gold Grind Mad Libs.
That's pretty much what it is. It's Gold Grind Mad Libs. Very, very well said, Edge. Yeah, sometimes it's come up Erdrick's Armor, Plate Drakema, as Mr. Holmes noting, and I think on rare occasions, didn't it also somebody say that it comes up as the Ball of Light, which is the final thing in the game?
Yeah. Also sometimes comes up as Erdrick's Sword and costs you a raise.
Well, it comes up as Erdrick's Sword, meaning that you have to check to see if it was actually Erdrick's Sword or if it was part of the glitch. Ooh, Card trying to get away from this armored knight here. Thankfully it's saved, but is not able to, and a quick, swift reset to try again to get to the town. Game Boy,
Ooh.
meanwhile, falling to the Magiwyvern.
Yeah, trying to chip away and just, 3 and 4 damage at a time, just not gonna cut it.
Not when you're dealing with an enemy that can have anywhere from 36 to 48 hit points, so you're at least 9-shotting him.
Yeah, and poor NESCard is just, they know he's carrying money, and they are doing their best to help relieve him of it.
Yeah, Armored Knights going out for the mugging this seed. And I don't mean for the camera.
Oh, here we go again, and Card just can't get away from these guys. All that gold is weighing him down.
And a critical hit on a metal slime over on Game Boy's side, and that's going to get him to level 10.
That is pretty huge. Even
3, 15, 0, and 4.
Wow, still not so great in the strength department, and no other towns have been seen in, I would say, about 15 minutes, so...
So Card taking out the Druin. Looking to get all the enemy encounters before hitting that zone with the Armored Knights and all the other stuff. And makes it into Rimmildar.
Alright, so step 1 of the shopping spree complete.
That'll be a nice boost in defense. You see already getting up to 60 on the defense statistic. And are you kidding me?
Of course. Oh no!
Wow. So Card having to reset and is going to have to go through it again here.
So many run fails in a row, but I mean, not terribly uncommon with how low the agility stat is versus those Armored Knights.
And there's the Staff of Rain over on Game Boy's side. So in terms of essential items, it is even back up, and Card trying to get to the towns, to get the respective armors and even things out. Meanwhile, Game Boy finding and apparently opting to head out of Hawksness.
Yeah, with no access to heal more, hurt more, there really isn't any enemy that you can confidently take out there on that spot. So
yeah, there is a spike tile, I guess you can call it, or a trap tile where you can encounter an enemy over and over again in the abandoned town of Hawksness, and it's going to be one of 6 different enemies. It's either the Blue Dragon, the Stone Man, the Armored Knight, the Red Dragon, the Axe Knight, or the Golem. All very tough enemies.
Card finally finishing up the shopping, is still carrying around 10k in cash, but has the magic armor, has the silver shield, and is probably hoping to just get to Garenham with some of that money.
And is just hoping for some sort of a weapon upgrade, whether it even be a hand axe, a broadsword, or the flame sword. And with this copper sword, trying to go after the Droll Magi here, which would be a nice 58 experience bump.
And Game Boy finds Cantlin, so if you're going to find an upgrade, this is a pretty good place to look.
Oh, there's a hand axe, so that'll be another 5 attack power.
And not only a hand axe, but some coordinates, too.
Yes, locked away, there is an old man who will let you know if there is an overworld item, and if so, where. If the old man says, thou must go and fight, then there are no coordinates. If the old man says, thou must go and search, he'll give you coordinates in 2 cardinal directions from the castle.
So yeah, Game Boy with the hand axe also finds a flame sword behind the locked door for sale. So there is that may be good enough to justify another grind. We'll have to see what Game Boy does.
And we'll see here, we've got 84 south and 37 west.
Those are some imposing coordinates. And I feel like this is a GPS required.
The GPS, the Gwalen Positioning System as it's known. In the swamp cave, behind another trap tile, there's an enemy that guards the princess. And if you rescue the princess and take her back to the castle, she will give you the item known as Gwalen's Love. And you can use that on the overworld, and she'll let you know 2 things. 1, how much experience you need to get to the next level. And 2, she will let you know where she is in relation to you, because with the ever-popular meme of her saying, but thou must, it is all about her.
Hey, another crit for Game Boy. That Droll Magi never even saw it coming. Oh, he's finally got enough money for the Cantlin Inn, so that's what he was going for there. Alright, gonna drop $100 on one night, and unfortunately not gonna buy any radishes today.
Just double checking that the dragon scale is on. When the dragon scale is put on, you get 2 additional defense points. Similarly, there is a fighter's ring that is in one of the treasure chests that will add 2 attack power to your total.
Game Boy unloading the cursed belts, and he's gonna pick up some torches, or at least 1 torch, which is good to have for the Sharlock dive.
And the adversary asking in chat, so Erdrick's sword, Erdrick's armor, and Erdrick's token are still at large. Hawksness hasn't been checked, and the town of Cole has not been found yet either.
Yeah, and yeah, he's doing a good job beating up this knight. Knight is not doing a whole lot of damage here, so the armor definitely paying off, and same with the axe upgrade.
So card back into the cave here.
And Game Boy seems to like the group of monsters that he's fighting here. I think he's defense breaking quite a lot of them, and has the heal spell, so not too far away from getting level 11. And yeah, he's just going to stick around and rough up these mid-tier enemies here.
So card back into Garenham, having just gotten to level 9. And chat noting that it's been a bit of a deliberate climb as far as getting from level 7 to 10, as it was about a half hour between getting to those levels, and now closing in on level 11, almost another 10 minutes after the fact. But having that higher defense, such a huge factor as enemies, once you get to a certain point, you mentioned defense breaking earlier. It's an interesting concept in that when your defense points are the same as or higher than an enemy's strength, a different attack range is calculated, resulting in less damage and in some cases as low as 0 hit points. So right now with the defense that Game Boy has, is damage breaking everything up to and including a knight.
Yeah, Stone Man a little too ambitious, but fortunately they're very vulnerable to sleep, so Game Boy gets the free run from that fight.
And Vartio asking, what defense breaks for the second form of the Dragon Lord? Well, the game is programmed so your defense won't get that high, but you'd have to have 140 defense points or more. I think it tops out somewhere in the mid-1-teens, like 114, 115. So you're still set to take hefty damage from the golems, the red dragons, and the second form of the Dragon Lord. And here is level 11 for Game Boy F9.
12 power. That's what you like to see. NESCard trying to maybe chip away at this Axe Knight. No, gonna run. Only does 3 damage, so NESCard definitely needs to find Cantlin very soon, and still carrying quite a lot of cash with him, so he can pick up that flame sword if he just, gets in range of the town.
Yeah, 49 attack power. You're doing a range of 2 to 4 damage on an Axe Knight. Considering it has up to 67 hit points, not very efficient.
Yeah, and Game Boy also quietly piling up some money, and after this Warlock fight, he'll have enough on hand to pick up a broadsword.
So back into Cantlin. And Game Boy going to upgrade the weapon. So from the hand axe to the broadsword, it's an additional 5 attack power, which may not seem like a lot, but given how low that it is, it's a pretty decent percentile.
Yeah, and hey, just, right over the hills, there's Hawksness again. Still doesn't feel confident enough to try for the Guardian monster there. So yeah, some good stuff south of Charlock.
Oh, except for the golem. But able to get away.
Yeah, and with the broadsword, these fights are going much faster.
Both runners opting to nope out of a Goldman fight, as while they give a maximum gold of 255, neither really looking for that at this point. They only give 6 experience, though.
And, well, Game Boy now doing double digits to the Magiwyvern, so this has become a good fight, and just the experience collection is becoming more efficient for him. And there's Hawksness for NESCard.
And he is going to give it a look.
You're just taking the scenic route out of town. there we go. Now this is a pretty big swing for Card being able to afford the Flame Sword right away.
And also ample money to be able to stock back up on keys. So that Flame Sword, that's a huge jump from 10 attack power of the Copper Sword to 28 for the Flame Sword. And you can see 2 levels behind, the difference pretty notable. So once he gets up to level 10, was it level 10 that had the, well, I think they both had pretty decent strength gains.
Yeah, the big 15-point boost was at 10, I believe.
I think one of them was 12 and the other was 3. So Card going to now get the information on the coordinates.
11 was 12, according to chat.
So Card going to re-up the resources and travel on from here. Seems to be a lot of long and winding roads to nowhere here as Game Boy exploring, and look at the size of this swamp. Up to NG, the town of Cole has not been found yet by either runner.
And another question in chat, is Erdrick Sword expected to be in Sharlock? We don't know yet. It's more likely to be in Sharlock, but there's still the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave and the Mountain Cave, I believe, to check yet.
Correct. So there are 6 treasure chests in the overworld and another 7 inside of Sharlock. So one of those 13 are going to contain Erdrick's Sword. And Vartio, that is a well-played joke in chat that I can't repeat or otherwise further acknowledge. And don't forget, if you want to give this a try yourself, well, the link is posted there in the chat as far as downloading the randomizer. And make sure to join the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord, as there are runners pretty much at most points of the day who are looking to get a race in. So you can go up against a lot of the great community that is here.
Game Boy running out of resources. This swamp has certainly been beating him up quite a bit.
And back to Sharlock. An interesting question. Are there beginner races? I mean, the races are kind of open to anybody. I mean, if there are other people who are newer in the community who you may want to try to talk into racing. I mean, I think the biggest thing is as great as a lot of those people are who are more experienced, you don't want to necessarily use them as a measuring stick right away. I mean, there are some people who, yeah, they took their bumps, they learned, they figure out some strategies, and slowly but surely get better.
Oh, Game Boy dipping into the herbs to do some healing, and I think this might be it.
That is going to do it, but a lot of exploration, but finding a whole lot of nothing, which, I mean, there is the knowledge that nothing was there, but again, if Card is able to avoid those areas, he can certainly take care of other bits of business more efficiently. Both of our runners are still looking for Erdrick's token, which could be in a treasure chest or it could be in one of those search spots. And Retro Grizzly Bear, it totally makes sense about the second guessing and armchair quarterbacking as another death now for Game Boy.
Yeah, card is, you know, the Flame Sword is really the first big advantage that card has had the entire game, and right now he's using it to good effect, catching up to Game Boy a little bit in the experience department, now only 900 behind.
Well, some of it, too, is the differing enemy encounters, as Game Boy going to head on back through the Swamp Cave and run into a red dragon and run from it.
Yeah, awful lot of big swamp tiles in this map, and really this map seems to be quite sprawling too, with the tiny first continent connected by a mountain range to the large second continent. And that is a town we haven't seen yet on NESCard's side.
I thought that was Garanham.
I think Garanham is a coastal city this time around.
Oh, you know what? I was looking at the wrong thing here. They looked very similar in structure, but here is the town of Cole, and Card finds Erdrick's token.
Alright, so a little bit of an exploration lead for Card as well.
So now the question is, do you go back to Hawksness to try to fight the enemy there? Or do you try to count out those redonkulous coordinates, as one of those two places is going to have Erdrick's armor, the best armor in the game?
Yeah, that's a difficult call. And it's funny because getting through getting the GPS is going to require you to beat a golem, and you may need the fairy flute for that. So.
And here comes level 12, 20 hit point gain.
And there's heal more, so on Game Boy's side, Hawksness is now a viable option.
Both of these runners, two of the top experienced Dragon Warrior Randomizer players. Game Boy F9 finishing second in 2016, the inaugural tournament, winning last year's tournament. By comparison, Card finishing fourth in 2016 and third last year. This is his first finals. And each time has run into the pair of buzzsaws that are Mr. Holmes and Game Boy F9. Card able to take care of one so far. Can he now run through both former champions to become one himself?
Well, Game Boy is headed in the right direction to find Cole, so that token will be in his hands shortly.
And there is level 11 for Card. So only about a little less than a 2.5 minute differential between Game Boy and Card finding the respective Erdrick's tokens. And to answer the question in chat as far as the orange stats, now in the very beginning of the game you saw that they were red, meaning that they were below average, which can occur. White is just kind of making the climb here. Orange is where if other stats are in the green, meaning that they're good to go, they're borderline enough that you might consider making a run to the Dragon Lord. As Mr. Holmes noting in chat, you need a combination of green and orange in, well, really all the categories. Strength, hit points, magic points, attack, defense, and agility. And we have an herb in the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave.
All right, just coming down to where's the mountain cave and possibly the treasury and the lone chest in the middle of Sharlock now. And Game Boy not getting as nice of a distribution of enemies, although this Rogue Scorpion is pretty solid. The cave zone for Garen's Grave has some pretty good enemies to kill with the flame sword, so NESCard should get some good experience here.
So now Card finding Garen's Grave and is not going to find really anything of use apart from the death necklace in it.
Game Boy finding Sparkle Bridge.
So this map is just all over the place. So both of our runners have what they need to acquire the Rainbow Drop, and I would imagine the next time they are back at Tandagel Castle, they will acquire that.
NESCard closing the gap a little bit, although Game Boy fighting this green dragon is going to get quite a lot in the way of experience from this. But NESCard's going to find a Rogue Scorpion, which is pretty solid for his level.
Yep, 70 experience for the Rogue Scorpion, 135 for the Green Dragon.
And nothing over here in this desert either. NESCard's going to pick up his fairy water outside out a bit. Have we seen the hills south of Tantagel yet on the second continent?
I don't know. So Card, having full cleared Garen's Grave, is going to move on here to the northwest as Game Boy chipping away at an Axe Knight.
Yeah, going for it. Gets the Axe Knight, and with Heal More, definitely feeling a lot braver about the enemies that he's going to attack.
So in terms of experience, there is a just under 1,000 experience differential.
NESCard one-shotting a werewolf, so good experience there. Unfortunately finds an empty corner. Go ahead and use that fairy water, yeah.
So I guess how far do they go along here before they consider the coordinates? Well, here's another. Okay, here is the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave. So that'll be an herb here, which is empty on card side. And Weasel79, yes, both runners know where the coordinates are. Neither has made a play for the Princess, as the 84 South and 37 West is quite a ways away, and more than likely having to go through the cave. Now, I don't know if they both know that the Guardian enemy is the Golem.
Yeah, I think NESCard knows, because he took a Death Warp fighting that enemy.
And here's a red dragon, and Card able to get away, and now Game Boy finding a cave, and I believe this is the Mountain Cave.
So Game Boy really hoping to find the sword here.
Now we've got big bucks to start. If Erdrick's sword is in here, it would be an additional 20 attack power for Game Boy, as compared to an additional 12 for Card. And Weasel, to answer your question, while the layouts of the caves are not randomized, there are ways to make Dragon Warrior Randomizer a little bit meaner, as here's a magic key on Game Boy's side. There's a mode known as Chaos Mode, which certainly has its additional challenges, including the statistics of the enemies being completely randomized. So you could have a slime with over 100 strength. You could have a red dragon that gives just 1 experience, just to name a few things. Also, in Chaos Mode, the weapon and armor shop prices are randomized. So you could see 10,000 gold bamboo poles, and you could see the silver shield for 5 gold.
Ooh, Card taking a death versus an Axe Knight must have rolled pretty high in the HP department.
5, 3, 9, and 1, the totals for level 13.
And the HP is crawling towards Death Necklace territory, so that may be significant.
And for those a little more curious about Chaos Mode, I would suggest that you take a look. I don't know how far you can go back in the archives here on Randomania, but definitely on the Randomania YouTube channel, the archives of the Chaos Tournament from earlier this year. So Card now back in the castle and is going to pick up the Rainbow Drop. And to answer the question, Chaos Mode races are kind of on the rare side. And we have the Dragon Scale. And did I miss the other two? I must have.
Yeah, it clears out the basement. There wasn't a Erdrick sword find as much as I saw. So
let's see. Torch and magic key, says the chat.
Yeah, so we've got Sword and Charlock as well, and NESCard has the drop. Would be a difficult dive to make it all the way down there with the strength, but maybe NESCard takes a peek into the lobby just to see what the top floor monster group is. And Game Boy is gonna grind for the Flame Sword right now, so this is A little bit of time that NESCard can gain back just fighting enemies here.
So Game Boy gonna do save and card. Well, I'm curious if he's heading over toward Hawk's Nest.
I think he's looking for Mountain Cave right now. Unfortunately, there's just a big nothing in this northern section.
And an interesting note from Up to NG in chat, and that Game Boy, while taking care of the gold grind, could have gone and acquired the rainbow drop, but opted not to. So there'll need to be at least one more trek back to Tangential Castle.
Oh good, Green Dragon has heal.
Yeah, why not? So we've seen heal, and we've seen the standard Dragon Breath.
Hard finding a good enemy. The Knights are pretty solidly safe fights at this point.
Yeah, with the 81 defense, able to damage break the Knights, and able to damage break one of the 10 enemies that are seen in Charlotte Castle, the Wizard.
Yeah, we haven't seen any wizards on the overworld, and I'm sure both of them would have loved to have seen one.
And Lorgon asking an interesting question in chat. Neither of our runners, why they haven't tried Hawk's Nest. Well, earlier on the seed, they had no hurt more, they had no heal more, they still have no hurt more. So now it may be worth considering going back. I mean, if there's a fairly palpable enemy in there, like, I don't even know. I guess if the Axe Knight, or if there's an enemy, have we seen any that have cast Stop Spell? I'm just trying to think of what might be best here. That is certainly a considerable thought if it's an easy to take out enemy. But for now, Game Boy equipped with the gold and is looking to restock on herbs, or at least make sure that the herbs are fully stocked.
Yeah, so after picking up that flame sword, a Hawk's Nest check seems like a pretty good idea. He's with heal more in tow. As long as the enemy doesn't have heal more itself, then he should be able to outlast it.
And a good note of observation in chat that neither really wants to go and get the princess, so they're trying to save that as a last resort.
Yeah, and Game Boy's advantage here is that he's already found the mountain cave and cleared it out. If the princess is going to be the last priority, then Game Boy is ahead in that regard as well.
Well, meanwhile, the experience differentials, that gap's starting to tighten up just a little bit here. Now a little less than 800. So I don't know if the panic is necessarily sitting in, as both of our runners have had all the necessary fetch quest items for a while. It's just been a matter of looking for, well, all the remaining Erdrick's items, the armor and the sword, and that rather low strength.
Yeah, this is one of those seeds where both runners have to feel uncomfortable. It's just so hard to have an idea of whether you're in the lead or not, even for Game Boy with the silver slime, or the metal slime start. Another question in chat, is sword diving a good strategy at all? It really depends. Sword diving right now without the armor would be pretty rough, but if the enemy's in the grind spot, if things are going to be much quicker with the sword than without, it might be worth taking a dive, getting information, and getting that sword out.
Okay, and answering a question in chat, while Erdrick's sword can be in any of the treasure chests, Erdrick's armor can only be in one of 3 locations. Either in the town of Cole, which in this seed we already had determined had Erdrick's token, in the Guardian spot in the town of Hawksness, or in the Overworld Search spot. So one of those 2 spots that we have seen here is going to have the armor. It's just a matter of, do our runners want to find a way to count out those coordinates and go 84 steps south and 37 steps west of the castle? Or do they want to take on a yet-to-be-determined Guardian inside of Hawksness?
Card getting unlucky, missing back-to-back sleeps on a stone man that has been drinking coffee all morning.
Yes, stone men are usually about a 2 out of 16 resistance to the sleep spell. It's only about 12%.
So, interesting here. Looks like both players are going for things that they've deferred almost to the very end. Game Boy going for the Hawksness spot, Card going for the Golem fight.
So this is going to be a crucial decision. If Erdrick's armor is here in Hawksness, that is going to significantly advance the lead for Game Boy. If it turns out it's the Fairy Flute, then Card is making the right play, heading for the Overworld coordinates.
Card also getting level 13 with the 255 experience from the Golem.
And it's a red dragon.
Ooh, Game Boy lands the stop spell, so all those hurt more turns are going to be free.
It looks like the red dragon breathing fire quite a bit. Oh, and he gets a critical hit!
And there's the armor.
Erdrick's armor. So Card has the princess. Unless he takes a death here, he's going to find that that Overworld Search spot is leading to the Fairy Flute. Now, the Fairy Flute is used to put golems to sleep. So the irony that Card defeated a golem to access what will be searching for the thing to put a golem to sleep, there is something to be said for that.
Yeah, and I think most runners would probably just snap that flute in half as soon as they found it, but yeah, just bad luck. It was kind of a 50-50 shot here, and Game Boy made the right choice.
And Game Boy F9 just checking his inventory and was about to head to Sherlock and realized, oh, wait a minute, I need the Rainbow Drop. And the spell of return has not yet been learned here at level 13. Now, chat seems to be noting that they don't believe that Game Boy knows that the Tangential Basement has the rainbow drop. So if he spends some time looking around for that, that could be an issue.
Yeah, that would be a huge benefit for NESCard. Although NESCard still needs to find the mountain cave, unless with the armor he would feel comfortable diving.
Well, here's level 14, 1 power, 3 speed, 21 hit points, 22 magic points.
Yeah, 146 HP means definitely Death Necklace territory. Just a matter of... Hey, he's got return! Alright, maybe that's what he was doing. Just trying to dig that last level out.
But the strength at this point is still very subpar. And this Armored Knight being problematic before Card even gets to the spot.
Yeah, he's committed to taking out this Armored Knight right now, but Armored Knight and then another Armored Knight. Oh boy. Card might have to call it quits on this search and just go back to Cantlin.
Well, here's the thing. If he takes the death while holding onto the princess, he'll have to go and re-rescue her. So he's going to use a heal more. He'll only have one left and is going to nope on out of there.
Yeah, probably doesn't feel confident in his ability to take out a red dragon with only 2 heal mores.
I don't even know if he saw it. Well, he sees the town's right there, so he's going to stay at the inn in Cantlin and give it another go.
Yeah, good experience, though. Closing the gap pretty quickly, although Game Boy, with this Golem fight, is going to get a nice 255. Question in chat, do they not have Stop Spell yet? They do. I believe Stop Spell was level 5 or 6.
It was pretty early on. So again, if Card wins this race, we will immediately have Game 3, the deciding game, following this. If Game Boy takes it here, then he will get the 2-game sweep and be the 2018 champion.
Card finding a knight and a couple of axe knights. Good experience there. Game Boy is going to head back to Garanham now.
And the Armored Knights continuing to cause havoc for Card and keep him from getting to the armor. Although defeating this Armored Knight, that's going to get Card to level 14.
Yeah, extra 21 hit points. And he is getting a really nice distribution of enemies with respect to experience, and maybe just wandering around Hawksness is the grind spot.
Yeah, not even worrying so much about the red dragon and the trap tile, but you're right, with Armored Knights and green dragons. Oh, wyverns also. Those are another pretty good enemy.
Yeah.
Pretty much guaranteed 2-shot. So Game Boy, the first to enter Charlotte Castle. And I guess now is the time to get your guesses in for where among the 7 remaining treasure chests will contain Erdrick's sword.
Alright, Card getting an excellent move on the red dragon, and now has the armor and is only about 200 experience behind. And I wonder if he's just gonna do either a grind or take the death here.
It could be a little bit of both, because he knows that holding the princess is only going to make things a bit worse here in terms of, well, he's not going to take the princess down to fight the Dragon Lord, so he figures, all right, if I can kill one, great. If I can exhaust all my resources and then take the death, then we're good to go. And another excellent move for Card. And with that, Card has taken the experience lead. Albeit briefly, now it's a difference of just 32 experience. It looks like Game Boy going to fight enemies on the way down.
Another excellent move on a red dragon for Card, and taking about a 300-point lead now.
Well, now out of resources here and is hoping for more of that fire breath. As it looks to be using it fairly often. Now, our runners are looking to get to 7,500 experience for level 15. Now, can he take it out one last one here? Yes.
Alright, so very efficient use of his resources. He's gonna walk out to Callan, it looks like.
Well, he figures, he knows that a death warp will be needed at some point, but if he can prolong it a little bit and continue that efficient grind until he's ready to go, that might be the way to go here.
Game Boy catching up a little bit, taking out enemies through Charlock, and with this Armored Knight, only about 25 behind now. Back and forth this lead goes.
Considering the start that Game Boy had, for Card to for all intents and purposes, be caught up is phenomenal. And the fact that I don't believe Card ever made it to the mountain cave, and I think that could be one of the differences here. One of many differences, granted, but still one of the differences.
Yeah, and I wonder just if in Card's mind he thinks, if he hasn't found, if the sword is in the mountain cave, that, you know, his run is over anyway, so might as well just play to his outs and dive Sharlock.
Oh, and Wizards with sleep, but also with hurt. We are just one enemy away here on Card's side, as this green dragon will launch him to level 15. And let's see what it brings. 4 power, 8 speed, no hit points, 7 magic points. And fully equipped on spells, we finally get Hurt More at 15. And now Card gonna extract a little revenge.
Yeah, and having Hurt More with a full stack of MP during the Sharlock dive is gonna help out a lot.
So I think Game Boy is trying to fight his way down and see if there's the level gains that are needed at level 15. We see that it doesn't appear to be the case. So perhaps Card going to make an exploratory dive to try to acquire Erdrick's sword. Now, even if Card does get it here, even if either of our runners get it at this point, considering their stats are pretty well even, actually pretty much exactly even, you're only looking at an additional 12 attack power. That would be 104.
Yeah, so definitely some more levels to get, and I think just being able to get that sword is weighing pretty heavily in their minds. Card's gonna go right on by.
I wonder if he's looking for the cave?
Cole is also back there, so that might be a useful diversion, considering he's down to only 30 MP, or 25 now. Alright.
Well, Erdrick's sword was in bottom right.
Yeah, clearing out the rest of the pyramid, and finds the fighter's ring as well.
He's going to just check the rest because, well, okay, he gets his replacement key and doesn't bother to check the middle right. What was in there? I don't believe we will know.
Game Boy casting outside, going back to stock up on supplies and refill his magic.
So I wonder if Card is looking for the mountain cave.
Seems like Game Boy is just looking for red dragons at this point.
The MP a little on the low side as well.
Oh, there it is.
So Card has found the mountain cave. And DePaul Doug, yes, 9,750 is the number for level 16.
And Game Boy now with the sword in hand, putting a decent amount of damage on the Red Dragons. This is a pretty solid grind, and we've got synced up Red Dragon fights now, but this lead is going to be going towards Game Boy's side in a hurry.
Just that 12 attack power being the difference. Although just as many Red Dragon encounters inside the mountain cave.
Game Boy running low on MP. Gonna take out this green dragon on the way out the door, and probably heading back to Catlin to heal up.
And does just that. Meanwhile, Card is having to use a lot of resources here on the golems and red dragons all atop. And another heal utilized here, make it a second. Thankfully, the mountain cave encounters pending is a fairly quick cave to clear.
And Card is gonna, well, the game is gonna make Card grind whether he likes it or not. And he's gonna see what's at 16 at the end of this fight.
Five power, no speed, 1 hit point, 1 magic point. We are definitely going to 17.
Yeah, and this is where Game Boy's advantage of having already done the sword dive is going to come into play. He's just gonna sit here until he hits this threshold that he feels is good enough for the Dragon Lord fight. And Red Dragons pretty much look like the fastest grind spot available in this seed.
So Card casting outside. And now the experience back to about 100 and change. Now here's a hurt more from Card on an Axe Knight. And they both crossed the 10,000 experience threshold. Game Boy with an 11 experience lead 99 minutes into this race. So Card going to head back here to Cantlin, or to Cole, rather.
Yep, and once he refills here, throws out the repel, the front door to Charlock is not too far away.
So it looks like Card is going to fight to 17 here.
Yeah, so Duff does not want to do the dive. This is a pretty sizable advantage for Game Boy at this point, and it may just come down to Charlock dive versus Charlock dive.
Well, you can see that detour now giving Game Boy about an 800 experience advantage once again.
Yeah, and that's gonna open up a little bit more. Each one of these fights for Game Boy is gonna go a little bit quicker than the equivalent for NEScard.
So this is just back and forth. Our runner's looking to get to 12,000 experience to get to level 17. And Game Boy should be able to do it on this Red Dragon Death here.
Card keeping pace for now, but decides he's gonna go for a Death Necklace grind.
So that Death Necklace is going to give him an additional 10 attack power. And here is level 17, 13 power, 1 speed, 11 hit points, and 1 magic point.
Yeah,
And he thinks that might do it.
Yeah, Game Boy is off to the races at this point. 158 HP, Death Necklace in tow. Should be a pretty straightforward dive.
So unless there's some sort of chicanery that goes on here in Charlock, and Game Boy has already seen what enemies there are. Plus, Card still has to do the dive in Charlock. So this almost feels like the Eliminator and American Gladiators. A little bit of a head start here for Game Boy heading into Charlock Castle.
And with the 92 defense power and a giant pile of HP, Game Boy feels pretty safe against all of these enemies.
There's level 17 for Card. Takes a look at his attack power and doing some quick math in his head. And he is going to continue the drive.
He's going to go to 18. Unless he's just using up his resources to ditch the princess.
Oh, there's a heal more. He's definitely going to 18.
Oh, he's looking at the stats continually here. So I don't know if he's just second-guessing, third-guessing. Delta Angel Fire, to answer your question, the reason that he would ditch the princess is if he holds onto the princess all the way through the Dragon Lord fight and goes to get the accolades at the end of the game, it's about an 8-second addition, although given how much of a detour it would be to do so, maybe it's better at this point to keep her.
Last floor for Game Boy to clear, but full of armored knights.
Unless Card went to essentially 17.5 and is going to fight down to 18.
Knights and Red Dragons. Kind of a nasty bottom floor, but Game Boy's got a lot of agility and a lot of HP, so...
And the Guardian here in front of the Dragon Lord is... Oh, it's our friend the Red Dragon.
Who else?
So just like all the other fights before, making quick work. And an encounter with the Armored Knight, able to get away.
Yeah, and now doesn't even have to use an herb, just puts on the Death Necklace, and there's your max HP. I believe it's 118.
So Game Boy declines the offer of the Dragon Lord to share half the world, gets called a fool, and here is the first bout. Dragon Lord spamming the Hurt More spell.
2 more herbs to go. Well, maybe that'll be a double if Dragon Lord attacks.
Oh, and a back attack!
That is not good.
That just made things very interesting. So starting off with a 9. Now the Dragon Lord can have anywhere between 150 and 165 hit points. There's another 14 up to 23.
Yeah, he gets a double out of it, though. The defense power coming through big right now.
So we're at 35. Oh, and another double breath. He's going to have to use another. We're up to 50. The attack's certainly helping. Here's a big 16. We're at 66.
Yeah, another double, and things are looking really good for Game Boy right
now. There's an 8 near the bottom there. We're at 88. Those attacks certainly allowing for a lot of doubles. There's another 14. We're at 102.
Yeah, and another double.
So 4 more heal mores still to go. We're at 126. I think Game Boy has this.
Yeah, this one's pretty solidly in the book, so just moving on at 17, the right call.
We're at 137, so the next attack could be the last one here. Oh, there's a 9, so we're at 146.
Yeah, Game Boy's gonna play it safe.
And 14 for 160, that is going to do it.
Game Boy retrieving the ball of light, and
chat, if you haven't already, get out your GGs for your defending and reigning champion, Game Boy F9, who is going to take the 2018 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 52 seconds. And wow, this has been... I'm still shaking a little bit here. This went back and forth the whole way.
yeah, Game Boy getting off to probably one of the fastest starts that I've seen in this tournament, but NESCard pulled real close and just unfortunately fell a little short at the end. And he's going to help himself to that Erdrick sword and fighter's ring. Probably rough up this wizard too, just for old time's sake. We'll see if we can get Game Boy in here for an interview real quick. In the meantime, NESCard is slowly closing in on level 18.
So here is level 18, 7 power, 4 speed, 1 hit point, 6 magic points. Gonna make it that much easier.
Alright, just a red dragon and a dragon lord to beat.
Yeah, I think if not for that early metal slime kill, that things would have been very different. Considering how close it was, even with that early differential.
Yeah, NESCard played the mid to end game pretty well and made up a lot of time, but just
that early advantage snowballed into a lead that was just a little insurmountable.
Well, there were also some decisions along the way. I think had Card decided to gamble and go into Sherlock as opposed to diverting to the mountain cave, then, I mean, that's one factor that could have reversed this and led us to a potential deciding Game 3. But there are so many of those moments, so many second guessings, so many shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Card making quick work of the Dragon Lord now. There's a 16. And another 16 is going to do it.
Alrighty, so get out your GGs for Card, who is going to valiantly finish just a little behind with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 50 seconds. Just 5 minutes and 58 seconds behind Game Boy.
And we're joined by the defending champion himself, Game Boy. GG to you.
Oh, thank you very much. So this is one of those things where, well, I'm going to wait for Card actually to get in here, but I will have to admit that this is one of those things where I feel very happy that I've won it all, and yet I feel kind of terrible the way I did it in getting a metal slime 2 minutes in. You know what I mean? Or do you think I'm crazy?
No, I can certainly follow along with that, and I think chat would agree as well that, yeah, it does feel a little, I don't know, it felt like that led to an insurmountable lead from the start, although it almost was surmounted despite that. Yeah,
I'm very impressed that he got within 6 minutes. Still, I mean, NESCardinality is a very good player. And I mean, just that big comeback is evidence as to why. But so I thank everyone for the GGs, and I thank you everyone for the congratulations. I do appreciate it. It's one of those things that we are actually considering of doing. Oh, actually, before I say that, good game, Card.
Thank you, GG Game Boy. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have to make a confession in that in the swamp cave, there was a metal slime and I killed one 2 minutes in.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I kind of feel terrible, though. You know what I mean? Or do you think I'm nuts?
It was one of the things, like, I found one at, like, the 20-minute mark, and I was like, oh, well, there's another way I could have lost, but I felt like I was lost at the 6-minute mark. I played the same way as last night. I explored a little around the castle. I found the swamp cave. I checked it out. And then, I was like 1 pixel away from a molder. Didn't find it until about 6 minutes when I had no money. And I was like, okay, here we go again. And it was 2 towns again. And somehow there was only a copper sword there. So I thought maybe I had a chance. If you killed a metal slime that early, I am shocked that I came that close. And I think if I hadn't built up the last level, I could have won, obviously. Everybody who was watching probably knows. And I think I would have been fine. How close it would have been, I have no idea, though.
And I'm gonna wait a minute before saying anything else. I'm gonna wait for the music to turn down. All right, is that sounding better?
Well, I didn't hear anything.
Oh no, no. There's actually some background music. Okay, so now it looks like the music is better. So yeah, I don't know where else should we go besides the metal slime.
Well, it was just like last night, except like last night it was just like everything was like, well, maybe I still have a chance. And then when the sword appeared, I was like, well, that's probably the nail in the coffin. But tonight, I found 3 towns, and there was nothing better than a copper sword, and I kept thinking maybe things are still okay.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine you did a gold grind before me to get the flame sword, and I was definitely worried about that, because that really opened up all the doors.
Actually, no. Card, not to interject there, but Card, you actually had, while you had done a gold grind later, Game Boy had gotten just the magic armor and silver shield and was still running around with the copper sword. You were actually the first to get to the flame sword, and that allowed you to catch up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised myself because I did because I just kept running into all these either these really crappy monsters or these really amazing monsters, and there was nothing in between, which made getting points very difficult. So I'm yeah, so yeah, I can definitely understand. I should have thought about I should have gold grinded. I should have gold grinded to the flame sword, but it was late when I found Caitlin, actually, so that was a thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of empty space in the northwest. If you went exploring over there, then maybe it took you a little extra time that way. I went south fairly early and found Hawksness and Caitlin and the Staff of Rain. But yeah, I just feel bad that I didn't go 1 level sooner. I mean, I saw red dragons and armored knights everywhere, and they were doing so much damage. I just kept thinking, I was going to lose a heal more somewhere in Sharlock, and then I just didn't. So I made room to grind up an extra level. But other than that, I still have a feeling you had just enough of a lead. You probably still would have finished first.
Yeah. Well, what would have happened if he went on 17? That would have been another maybe 3 or 4 minutes of grinding. Yeah, it would have been really close, I think.
The worst part is the mountain cave was the only thing I hadn't found, and I hadn't explored the entire west of the map past, the grave and coal and everything above. And if I had just stuck with my gut and said, okay, you're behind, you got to hope that the sword's in Sharlock and you're getting all this extra HP, there are other ways to win. If I had stuck with my gut and not done that exploration, I probably could have taken the lead, but it was way too big of a risk to just assume that I was losing when, again, there was that possibility that that you weren't able to get to a weapon either. I mean, there were red dragons in the swamp cave. It took me forever to get through there, like a second time and stuff like that. So I couldn't take the risk. I had to go with what I had.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. All these monsters are really powerful. Maybe Mountain Cave had Erdrick's sword, and it took me forever to find the darn thing. So, yeah.
We have a question in chat for Card, inquiring about the decision to put the death necklace on when you did in the middle of the grind with the red dragons.
I felt bad that I didn't do it earlier. Hawksness was right next to Caitlin, and I think I put it on before I even went to the mountain cave. So the idea was, if I wasn't going to go straight to the mountain cave, like I wanted to get Hurtmore before doing that, or at least check the next level to see if I was going to get to Hurtmore. So I noticed that, instead of like 5-shotting red dragons, I could probably 4-shot them more often and have a couple chances at 3 shots. So that was the idea, to speed up the grind. And we just had so much HP, I realized, agility was definitely not low. We finished in the 80s, and I just thought to myself, I don't need the extra HP going through Sharlock, and if I can do anything to speed up the grind, now's the chance.
Yeah, Silver in chat was saying Game Boy's take, and my take is you learned well. You learned well, Card, because I know you commentated one of my races where I put on the death necklace very quickly. I think it was you who did that. Yeah, it was. It was my first race against BT? I think it was, right?
I'm thinking, but I mean, there have been so many races. Like I've been racing virtually every night, so a lot of them blur together. But I've seen that happen before, and the possibility was in my mind. And I am definitely glad I did it because it had no drawbacks. We had high HP and we didn't have low agility. There was a town nearby. There were no drawbacks at all. So I'm happy I did it.
Yeah, I did not, and I do think you made the better play. I need to take a second to, if you all don't mind, give some thanks to everybody who has made this tournament possible. Give me a second here. All right, so first I'd like to thank our all the administrators that made this possible. Let me copy and paste this here. All right, so there they are. Angry Larry, who's going to help out with the Elite Tournament. Well, no, he runs the Elite Tournament in a couple of weeks. That's going to be really fun to watch. High Spirits continuing his going into his 100 RPGs, and congratulations again to him for finishing 1 through 9 all in one session. You're crazy. And JJ Smith, McGrew, the head man, Mr. Holmes, and Sparkover. I don't know what her plans are, but I'm sure they're going to be really awesome. And but I wanted to thank all of them for all the hard work they have done to put this tournament together for all of you. And then the layout that you see here, that was done by Cap Doohoo and the Tie-Dye guy, who really stepped up to the plate and made an amazing layout. So thank you to both of you for doing that. Now I'm going to go to the restreamers here. Obviously, without a where am I going with that? I'm sorry. Obviously, without a restreamer,
we don't have people. People aren't able to see what's going on here.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a restream. We don't have a restream. So many thanks to all those people who have really helped out. A lot of thanks to Wolfman and Math Girl, who restreamed a ton for us. And I can tell you, both of them are administrating the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker Randomizer tournament. We're going to have quite a number of matches on Randomania. So I did want to put out a special shout out to those two, but still, many thanks to all the restreamers for making that possible. I really appreciate that. The commentators, of course, big shout out to Fran Burgundy. Congratulations on being the first person to get 2 finals assignments. You got the assignment in the Chaos Tournament this year. So you're the first one to get to do that. Congratulations also to Edgeworth and Melee Wizard for their grand final assignment. So really appreciate everything you've all done. And I also thank all the commentary, including NESCardinality. So in his excellent commentary, along with Sparkover, and I mean, NESCardinality is great with anybody, as is Fran Burgundy, and I could go on and on and on, but I really appreciate all the commentary to make this tournament very special. And finally, I'm going to thank the trackers. Congratulations, Cyberdark, for his final assignment. He did all 3 games for us. Really appreciate it. Also like to thank Demarine for jumping from FFR and FF4 FE to help us a few times, and Ali Gerbrap also coming from FFR to help us out, and And finally, I have to thank the runners who, of course, if there aren't any runners, we don't have a tournament. So I really appreciate everybody coming in and giving this a try. And we beat our record by 10. We had 32 last year. This year we had 42. And I really appreciate everybody making it out. And let's see. And I think I covered it all. Is that right?
I mean, I've been thanking everyone night after night, and it still blows my mind how all the races were covered, or nearly all of them, in the first couple of weeks when we were doing, more than 2 per night on average. I really don't know how that happened. People really stepped up and went beyond the Call of Duty, and it was quite amazing. I'm very thankful for that, and I'm also very thankful for the influx of new players, many of which really learned the game really quickly, really picked it up rapidly, and gave a lot of good competition. And so many people wanting to race pretty much every night. We've had 2 races, very close to 2 races every night on average for the past, I don't know how many weeks. It's been absolutely awesome. I hope that trend continues past the tournament. I'd understand if it didn't, but at the same time, there have only been a few of us left in the tournament for a few weeks, and people have still wanted to race. So I really hope that goes on. And a big thank you to everyone who has shown so much interest in what I think is just like the best possible randomizer for the game it was made for.
Well, I do have a few announcements to that card. I can tell you that we will be resuming our weekly races on Wednesdays, and it'll be at 9 o'clock. I'm sure a number of them will be restreamed here on Randomania. I hope that I'm totally with you, Card. I hope that everybody will continue to race daily, but we definitely will be doing weekly races every Wednesday. I know we're going to be heading into the chaos mode season, so to speak. We're probably going to set up a tournament for that. I don't want to make that official yet, but hopefully we will do that. The chaos tournament where like everything is randomized, not just the monsters of the map. Not just
yeah.
Yeah,
I did allude to it a little bit during the race, but yes, the statistics for all of the enemies, their hit points, the experience they give, the gold that they give, their strength and agility are all randomized. The cost of the armor and weapons and shields are all randomized. They're just to name a few things. Plus, the Dragon Lord is even nastier with a range of 100 all the way up to 230. Hit points, as well as the possibility of either the spell of heal or the spell of sleep. So yeah, there's a few other nasty things that make chaos, dare I say, chaotic.
Yeah. I should ask Card. What are your plans for the next few months?
Stream, and more stream.
I like that plan. Are you still streaming after this interview?
I am.
Cool. We'll raid you because I will have to go after this interview because I need dinner. So regardless as to what's happened here, congratulations, Card, for second place. That it's definitely. You're definitely. It's been an honor competing against you. I wish we could do it a lot more often than we have. I'm glad we were able to get a couple casual races in this year. We didn't get any in last year. We got to try for more in the future, but it's been a blast.
Absolutely. You should get in touch with me if like a morning race is brewing on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my most common days off. I might need to know in advance if it's like super early, but it seems like you can almost never play in the evening, and I know what that's like. So if you ever want to have a bigger race in the morning, just try and give me some notice, and maybe I can join it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that definitely.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for providing so much good competition. We saw a lot of unexpected twists and turns. The top 3 runners, we all made the final 4 with a 3-2 record, and everything was really uncertain. And but we all pushed forward to the final four and provided some incredible action amidst all the other amazing runners who are having spectacular tournament. I can't say it enough, but I've also been saying it night after night doing commentary in my own. So I'll stop rambling on about it. You guys know how amazing it was, and I just hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did.
And one thing I'd like to add, if I may, if you're that's not necessarily watching this live, if you're watching the VOD of this later here on Twitch, or if you're like I did with last year's tournament, watching it a few months after the fact on YouTube, get involved in the community. The link is, I'm going to put it up here in. Oh, never mind. Game Boy already on top of it here. But yeah, join the Discord. I thought it was an exclusive thing, and props to Lavkian for saying no. Just come on in here. It's not anything like that. It's a very open and welcome type community here, and they've welcomed me with open arms and love it when I hop on the mic here, and it's been a blast to be able to do so. And hopefully I'll get a computer that's streamable so I can kind of be in the mix with the races as well. But yeah, lots of new folks from last year to this year. And I mean, if not for seeing last year's tournament, I wouldn't be here talking now. So, I mean, get involved. It's the best way the best way to get in is, kind of just jumping right into the deep end of the proverbial pool here.
Can't wait for next year. It's going to be stellar. The sooner you get in, the more practice you can get, the more things you can learn. It really is amazing how many unique situations arise out of different seeds. I'm literally still finding new situations every day, including today. There was stuff in this race I had never seen before, and a lot of unique types of things. I mean, just to scratch the surface using the death necklace for that grind. But yeah, so many other little details. This was a longer race, and there was a reason. It was complex. So yeah, there's a lot to learn, and that process doesn't really ever end. So I hope you guys get into it and enjoy it as much as we're enjoying it. And there'll always be someone to race.
Yep, absolutely. I have nothing to add. You, Ferran and Card, hit it right on the head.
So I do have to ask, Card. So 2016, you finished fourth. Last year, you finished third. This year, second. I guess there's nowhere to go but up, right?
Well, that's always the plan. I actually thought that I was third and then fourth, but I honestly don't remember for sure. But yeah, either way, the order doesn't matter. It's time for first, and I'll be looking forward to it in the future. I have mentioned in the past, because Randomizer is so random, it's a shame we can't do triple elimination. But after seeing how long this tournament went, I understand that it's not really the kind of thing we can just prepare for. I mean, I'm amazed that this Swiss format worked out so well and that everyone had it covered. I'm just amazed. So big thank you to everyone who covered everything. And I can't wait for next year. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, a huge undertaking. By my count here, 131 races for the tournament in 109 days.
Amazing.
Yeah, just about 7.5 weeks between when we started back on July 30th. Yeah, that's how long this tournament has gone on, and it has been a roller coaster ride all the way through.
Pardon me. Let me correct you on that. I think that's 79 days, isn't it? From July to October?
No. If it's more than 3 months, it's more than 90 days. Oh, wait a second. You said July. Oh, maybe you're right.
Yeah, late July to mid-October. Anyway.
Well, still, I mean, the vast majority of the races were in the first half. They were tapering off while eliminations happened. So, especially for the first half, just an unbelievable job by everyone.
Either way, it's a lot in a very short period of time. I know the number of races. I thought I had my math. This is why I don't do math late. I don't know. I thought I had it right, but
we should
leave it to the experts here.
We should have let Math Girl do it. I mean, she's Math Girl.
Yeah, that's never math on stream. Cyberdark.
All right, sounds good. I better head on out, I think.
Get some sleep.
Oh, I'll be up for a little while longer, I think.
No, I stand corrected. Yeah, 78 days. So even more amazing. Then you're almost looking at about 2 races a night over the course of the. You know what it was? I think I was looking at the calendar, and for some reason I saw the 30 and went from June 30 instead of July 30. I do maths good. Okay. Well, that's a nice way to wrap things up here. Burgundy making a fool of himself. Fun times. So, Edgeworth, anything to add here?
No, just GG to both of you, and thanks again to all of the people that did such hard work to make this tournament a success. I'm looking forward to the next one, and if there's a Chaos tournament, I'm looking forward to helping out with that one too.
Yeah, so thank you all to tuning here at Randomania. And yes, for behind the scenes here, for Math Girl 718, our restreamer, CyberDark86, our tracker, Edgeworth, my co-commentator. Make sure to give all them a follow, as well as both of our runners here who have given a pair of nights of fantastic races here, gameboyf9 and NESCardinality. I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time and next tournament, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. We're now going to take a raid over to NESCardinality. Thank you for tuning in, and good night, everyone.